This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Tom, I feel like I'm ready to get moving.
Yeah, well, we're back in the same room again today, thankfully.
I'm giddy.
Yeah.
I'm giddy about it.
Well, that touches my heart to hear.
I've been laughing like a schoolgirl this whole time.
And has that been scaring your wife and child?
No. Since I got here.
Since you got here, yeah.
Like this.
Well, we spent...
What?
That's not
me.
how a
That's me
schoolgirl
laughing
laughs.
like a schoolgirl.
You have a misunderstanding of what a schoolgirl is, then.
It's been a while since I've been to school.
Do you think a schoolgirl is like Tim the Toolman Taylor?
I think Tim Allen would come in here and freaking slap you in the face for saying that.
I think if Tim Allen tried, he would get thrown to the floor by me. Much more muscular man than him.
How old do you think Tim Allen is?
A much younger man. 67, I'm going to guess.
Okay. Ask Siri, but...
Siri, how old is Tim Allen?
Tim Allen is 68 years old.
Ooh,
oh, look at that.
Price is Right rules. You nailed it, Tom.
Yeah. Oh, I could easily beat the shit out of him then.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
He's like frail and wears glasses now.
Yeah. I think the challenge would be if you asked me to beat up Tim Allen but not kill him.
Oh, wow, Tom.
No, not that I'd want, not that the bloodlust would be so, but just once you're approaching 70, it's hard to fight a man without accidentally killing them.
Yeah.
By hitting them the wrong way or having them fall the wrong way.
What about this, Tom? He's just come in from working on his hot rod.
Yeah.
He's hiding a socket wrench in his sleeve, and he pulls you out and just bops you on the head with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, if he got a sucker punch with a socket wrench in on me, sure, then he would have the upper hand. Then he might, in fact, kill me.
Yeah.
Depending on how hard he swung.
Getting killed by Tim the Toolman Taylor.
It would be sad for him. He'd be going back to jail for a second time in his life.
He'd sell out whoever gave him the socket wrench.
He would snitch on whoever gave him that wrench. Tim, we're not going to talk about the slap heard around the world this week because me and you just spent like an hour talking about it.
It happened 5 days ago, and I'm still talking about it nonstop happily.
Yeah, but not on this podcast because you're hearing that everywhere else.
Yeah.
If you see one of us in the street, buy us a coffee or a beer, and we'll happily talk your ear off about the slap.
As far as I'm concerned, the slap heard around the world is the one that Tim the Toolman Taylor is going to administer to you.
Yeah, right.
Once he hears this podcast.
So you think it's going to happen at a global award show?
Maybe.
What kind of award show would have
Is Tim Allen invited to?
Is Tim Allen invited to? Given the front row, but I am one of the presenters. Actually, that kind of makes a lot of sense. I could see it. If I were presenting at an award show, it seems like the kind of award show where if Tim Allen wanted to come, he would get a seat of honor.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be like, hey,
yeah,
seat of honor for Tim Allen.
But not now. Now I'd be like, well,
you don't know about the socket wrench yet.
I don't know. I do. You told me about it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Plus, I don't want to be slapped on stage, even by an old man.
That's true.
I don't want to kill an old man on stage either. That's one of my biggest fears. It's one of my biggest Hollywood fears. Tim, before any of that nonsense happened, I had a bad start to my week. No, actually, it was after that. It was the next day. I was riding high on seeing the most entertaining thing that's ever been on television.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never had this happen to me. I'm walking my dog and a bird shit on my head.
That's good?
Supposedly it's good luck, but that's just the kind of thing people say, right?
Yeah. What kind of bird was it?
Like a little bird, because I looked up and I could see it.
Wait, where did the poop land?
Right on like the crown of my head, like perfectly like splat.
Like somebody cracked an egg on top of your head.
Yeah, perfect. Could not have hit the top of my head better than.
Did you know every time a bird is pooped on me, I didn't even realize it. It's because my hair is it's like a helmet. Put so much gel in it.
You put a lot of Aquanet in your hair.
Exactly.
I think that's what
just
it is.
slides right off.
No, this like it I don't know I think because Monday was such a beautiful day out and I was just kind of enjoying like, this is very nice outside. And
God wanted to punish you.
He wanted to punish me for my hubris. And it just slapped again. It hit so perfectly that it was like whack. Like it felt like somebody spit on my head. And I looked up and I saw this stupid little bird.
Was he perched on like a tree?
Yeah, he was perched on a tree. And then I could smell it. I could smell it even before I saw the bird. It had that bird shit smell to it. You know what that smells like?
The bird shit.
Yeah, it smells like it has a very distinct smell. And I was like, great.
I don't know that I know that smell.
You would know it. It's the smell like if you're in a pet store or somebody's house that has a bird, it's that smell.
I guess
it's like a sweet smell, kind of. Don't give those eyes, Tim. It's not that kind of sweet.
Are those fresh baked cookies, or do you have a bird?
Not every sweet smell is a good smell.
Yeah.
But yeah, bird shit right on my head. And then I had to like come back inside, and my girlfriend.
Would you ever have a bird?
No.
Some people that I really respect have birds.
You want to name names?
Oh. Well, I respect them.
Yeah. I think birds are cool, but I don't want one living with me.
No.
And also, I don't think a bird wants to live with me. Birds want to be...
Come on.
Well, I think birds want to be flying.
Come on, Tom. Have a little freaking self-esteem.
Birds want to be flying around, and I can't fly, Tim. So what use does a bird have for me?
Yeah.
Bird seed, I guess. That's what a bird can get out of me.
Yeah, and yesterday's paper to line the bottom of the cage.
I just realized that it's because this stupid woman has been spreading like crumbs, bread. And I was mad because of the pigeons and rats. There are so many pigeons. Not really the rats. The rats are in the garbage cans. Mm-hmm. You see a lot more rats around lately? I feel like there's a lot more rats around lately.
I live in a nicer part of town than you.
Every time I'm out walking at night, if you walk near any garbage can, all of a sudden it's like, there's like commotion. And you're like, oh my God, there's a giant rat in there.
Yeah, a rat doesn't want anything to do with you.
It might want to bite me. It might want to bite me if it's got its young in there or something, and it thinks I'm coming to eat garbage.
No, rats don't care about their young.
Yeah,
rats don't care about anything. The rats are always looking out for number one.
That's true, but
and also because the city has decided that they don't have to provide services anymore. There's more than enough garbage for the rats to keep themselves happy with.
Yeah, a rat doesn't need to concern itself with me. But, yeah, I just realized this woman, and I got to keep an eye out for this woman and say, hey, lady, quit throwing food everywhere.
Hey.
A bird shit on my head.
Then she'll feel pretty bad about that.
Yeah. I'll say, how would you like if I shit on your head?
She'll tell you it's freaking good luck.
Well, I'll tell her I fell down the stairs right after. So your theory's debunked. I
wear a neck brace. Really sell it.
I'll wear a neck brace and a helmet.
Yeah.
I came back inside and my girlfriend was like using the bathroom. I think she was taking a shower and I was like, oh, come on. Like,
get out of there, idiot.
Get out of there. Don't you know I just got my head shit on and I got to take a shower? I've got to wash my hair 3 times because I'm so grossed out.
That stupid lady with the bread screwed me. I told you she would.
Oh, it finally happened, honey. That lady really, I hope she's happy. I hope she's laughing in hell.
You know that lady I complained to you about 3-4 hours a day?
Yeah. So, yeah. But I didn't let that put a damper on. Then I just thought about that slap, and I was like, all right, now I'm back. Now I'm just back to thinking about the thing that upsets me, Tim, is, of course, we can't talk about it. We can't do it because
it's over a week later, Tom.
Yeah, it's over a week later. Everybody's heard a million things, but that we've had like a 3-topic list for the past month, and Will Smith has been one of the topics that we've been like, all right, we'll do these 3 topics eventually. And now it would look like we're just
cashing in.
We're just bottom feeders. We're just cashing in.
Yeah.
We got to wait for an episode with more ads in it. Then we'll do the Will Smith.
No, because people are, look, you can't do a Will Smith episode. Like,
what if we got him here?
We are, well, I'm afraid. I'd be afraid to have him here, actually. I'm fine.
People are gonna tune in next week. It's gonna be just Will Smith on our show. Yeah, these 2 guys didn't show up.
I'm fine being a bottom feeder, Tom.
Uh-huh.
It's just I think nobody wants to, like, people are like, oh yeah, they're going to talk about this.
Yeah,
You know? They've already all tuned out. Now we can say whatever we want. We could talk about how happy the slap made us.
It really did. It made
From an entertainment.
entertainment. Of course, violence is wrong. You don't want to see anybody get hit, but I'll be goddamned if that wasn't the most exciting thing I've ever seen.
My heart
on
was
television.
racing.
Yeah. Our good friend of the show, Dan Deacon, was up for the award that Chris Rock was presenting, and like that I forgot about that in the midst of all this. And then I saw him on TV when Questlove won. I was like, oh yeah, Dan's there too. He got to see the slap in person. That must be the most exciting thing that's ever happened for him. Meanwhile, the man's there nominated for an award, but still. I would take seeing that slap in person over any award.
Tom, we said we weren't going to talk about
I know. All right. What do you want to talk about?
Can't really think of anything other than the slap. All I've been thinking about is the slap in my head. It's not just a slap, it was the screaming after.
There's a whole...
That part was cool.
Man, look, it was like
a weird man had a breakdown on television.
And what good is television if we're not going to see a strange man lose his mind, at least temporarily? Why even invent television if that's not a possibility?
Yeah. I mean, I think this was this unseated the Jinx losing his mind in the bathroom.
Yeah,
as my
really
top
did.
TV moment.
It has to, because this happened live, and the Jinx wasn't live, and then we learned later that it was like edited out of context. Unfortunately for the Jinx, because he died in jail.
One other
as a result.
I mean, he definitely killed multiple people. Don't cry for the Jinx, Tom.
Yeah, the Jinx cries for no man.
Yeah, and your tears will bring the Jinx back to life.
Oh, I didn't even think of that aspect. Yeah,
he feeds off your sympathy, Tom.
Yeah. I mean, OJ car chase, that was a very exciting thing that happened live on TV. Yeah, and that was a
man losing his mind on television.
Yep, a very famous man.
Who else? Wonderful live television breakdowns.
I mean, when Bill Clinton said, in fact, I did have sexual relations with that woman.
Yeah, but that was like stage managed and stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't nearly as exciting. We're talking about spontaneous stuff.
Yeah, people that are like, oh, I didn't know this person was completely bonkers.
Yeah. You think maybe Will Smith didn't know that show was live?
Yeah.
That the cameras were on.
He doesn't really I don't think he understands, like, broadcast, film,
no,
TV,
he's new to the world of entertainment in general.
Yeah.
So he's kind of just got wide eyes.
Like,
we didn't see that after he got back to his seat. He said, "You guys can cut that, right?" Tim, we're here this week to talk about a different type of entertainment: Blockbuster entertainment, Blockbuster video entertainment.
Wow.
What a difference. Now, what did that mean? A difference from other video stores?
Yeah.
Let's start by just talking about video stores before Blockbuster.
Okay.
The cool ones that had pornography in them.
See, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everybody talks about. There were Mom and Tom. Remember when you and my mom opened up that video store together?
Yeah.
It was weird because of all the pornography you ordered for it.
I mean,
my mom was very uncomfortable with that.
You walked in the front door and you were just kind of in like, it was almost like a little vestibule, and that was the main store.
Yeah.
That had 10 copies of Caddyshack 2 that you could rent. And then there was another door, a beaded door with saloon doors. And that brought you into the pornographic area, which was 10,000 square feet of pornography.
Yeah. Again, I don't think my mom knew what she was getting into going into business with you. She warned me about getting into this show with you.
Right.
I mean, that's how I know you, through my mom. You were her business partner in the video. She
warned you. She said, Tim, I opened up a store with Tom when he was 8 years old, a video store, and it didn't go well. I think he just used the fact that I was an adult to order 10,000 pornographic videotapes.
So there were these mom and pop video stores, Tom.
We had one in our town called Golden Video.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. It was great until Blockbuster opened.
Yeah. But everybody always talks about, like, oh, there's an adult section. Now that we're adults, would you ever walk into the adult section of any business?
No, I mean, this was also when,
especially in like your own small town, like, I'm gonna go to the place right next to the bagel shop, and I'm gonna walk into the pornography room there, yeah, and like anybody walking by on the way home from the bagel shop will watch me going through the beads into the pornography room.
Right?
No, I don't want that to happen.
But it happened. I mean, again, you have to remember how inaccessible pornography was in the 80s, especially moving pornography.
Not emotionally, really a tear to your eye watching.
Not emotionally moving. I'm talking about talkies, the motion pictures. You had to go to a theater in Times Square,
right,
and get shot and stabbed multiple times and step on syringes and everything.
Yeah.
But this, and you couldn't watch pornography on TV.
Or what happened to that poor Paul Rubens might happen to you.
Exactly. Porn on TV, you had HBO and the Playboy channel, neither of which were nearly as risque as I'm sure what they had behind those beads. They
had other pay-per-view options, right?
I don't really think so, because at that time, I don't think they had like hardcore porno, actual sex.
And that's what they had at the Golden Video?
Yeah. I assume. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe it was
anything.
just like
I don't think it was like 100 videotapes of softcore. I think they had some nasty shit in there.
Okay. I don't know what you're basing this on.
Because look, if you're going to do it right. And
well,
that's no, it's not mine. Motto. I'm just saying that if you're going to have an X-rated section, you don't want somebody coming back out and saying like, what the hell is this? It's all softcore stuff.
Yeah, you'd be like, yeah, all right, take it or leave it, pervert. Get out of my store.
Well, Tim, that's not how you're going to run a business catering to perverts.
See, I think you're making a mistake thinking that the mom and pop video store and mom and Tom video store just wants perverts lurking around.
No, because I guarantee
because they also had Caddyshack and the rest of the films.
But I think those porno tapes, they probably could charge like a real premium to rent them too.
You could charge a premium to rent anything.
Yeah, but
Caddyshack, for example.
No, but people wanted porno was hard to get back. Porno was hard to get back then, and I don't think anyone who really wanted it was like, if only this were $5 to rent, I would do it.
I understand that the opportunity was there, Tom, to run a smutty business where you gouged perverts for the grossest pornography.
Well, I'm glad you see it this way because your mom didn't.
I understand that the opportunity is there. What I'm taking issue is your insistence that this is, in fact, what all video stores actually did.
A lot of the mom and pop ones did. Apparently, like a porn section was just kind of. I mean, it's the same way how we know that VHS players got popular because of porn. Because porn was like the first thing that that when VHS came out, porn companies were like, "Oh, we can see the value in this. People would like to watch our porn at home. We're in." And while Sony Pictures and Disney are like, I don't know, this might cut into our movie profits, our theater profits.
I understand that the opportunity is there. I think I just don't agree with you that this is the backbone and the core.
No, I'm not saying it's a backbone. I'm just saying that I think almost every independent video store in the 80s had a porn section. And I think probably a lot of those porn videos were like absolutely disgusting that they catered.
One time
because think about, they had to cater to the type of person that didn't care if other people in the town saw them going in there.
Wait, say that again?
They had to cater to the type of person who didn't care.
No, that's the thing. I think people wanted to be discreet.
Yeah, they did.
Because I was in there renting 3 Men and a Baby.
Right.
With my parents.
Yeah.
Right. And, if it's all the grossest thing you can imagine there, nobody's going to go in there and be like, oh, well.
I'm not saying it's all the grossest, but some of it was, I'm sure, shocking.
In the late aughts, Tom.
Yeah. I mean, also, I remember this video store had Faces of Death not behind the curtain, just like out. So
I was in the South, Tom. I don't know what city, but we had stopped at a gas station. I was on tour. And it was like 2009, 2008, maybe. And the gas station sold a lot of pornography.
Oh, nice.
But there were DVDs, and each one
they only played in the gas pumps.
no, there was a display like next to like the Slim Jims and like and like the Hostess cupcakes and stuff.
They know their audience.
And it was like, but
you could buy a Slim Jim and then buy a thick Jim, right? A video presumably titled Thick Jim.
Yeah. Well, you didn't know. Here's the thing, Tom. You didn't know the titles of the movies. You couldn't see the covers because I think they thought it would be unseemly.
Right.
Because I think so. They all had inserts that were color coded, and one was pink. One was neon green. I only know this because I took a picture of it. One was neon green.
What a creep.
And one was yellow, and that corresponded to the race of the performers in those videos. And but to also be helpful, they printed the race also. And so you just, I think it was kind of like what are those toys where like you buy the toys and you don't know what's inside, but like you know that
Kinder
know it, or it's like, oh, I bought a Simpsons toy, I don't know what character it's gonna be.
Let me see what I'm gonna get.
And it's just like, oh, I know what race it's going to be. I don't know what the people are actually going to look like.
Yeah.
And then you just roll the dice, and then that's how you.
It would be hilarious if that
gas station in the South.
It'd be hilarious if that's how they segmented it, but it was like you might get straight porn, you might get gay porn.
Yeah. Oh wait, there might have been also a secondary.
Also that,
classification.
Because I was going to say, I think some people would be disappointed.
Yeah.
Just
this might have been a town where they didn't acknowledge that there was anything other than straight porn.
I was going to say, I can't imagine gas stations being very, gas stations in the South selling pornography being very open-minded.
Anyway, Blockbuster video. Okay, wait. So there were independent video stores long before Blockbuster.
Yeah. Now, I remember at the video store in our hometown, Golden Video, you, at least in the beginning, because I think my family had a pretty early subscription because our number was R80. So we were the 80th our last name.
Okay.
Because there was no card or anything. You just went in there and you rented something and you said R80. But you had to sign up for a membership where basically that was like the seed money for them to buy all those videos.
Yeah, you had to pay for a membership.
Yeah, so they paid, I think it might have been a few $100s. And then that came with, okay, now you have 100 rentals, 20 rentals, 50 rentals or something. Because I just remember a lot of times because right next to Golden Video was Goodies, a stationery store that sold magazines and had Street Fighter in the back. Mm-hmm. And sometimes my parents...
The video game, there wasn't an actual Street Fight.
I wish. Tim, you know I love violence. Live in-person violence. But sometimes like my parents would be in there to like buy a newspaper or magazine. And I'd be like, can I go rent, Three Amigos or something? And they'd be like, yeah. And I'd be able to go in there, grab the tape I wanted and say R80. And they would say, okay. And that was it.
Did you ever go R80?
No money would change hands. Now
Did you ever go R matey? And they were just like, dude, do you think they thought you said R matey? And they were like, this is pirate. Let's not mess with them.
That's not a young boy. That's a pirate.
Yeah.
I hope
pirate.
I hope that store that closed 20 years ago hasn't reopened and now somebody's using R80 to rent movies.
Can I tell you something? Do you want to hear my parents joke about the Golden Video?
Tim, I can't wait. I'm surprised this didn't come up with when me and your mom opened a video store.
When you signed up, you had to pay a couple $100.
Yeah.
But they said this was a lifetime membership. When they went out of business, my parents said, I guess it was their lifetime, not mine.
Oh, Tim, that's cold. What an unbelievably sick burn your parents had about a business that went under. I mean, come on, that just goes with the territory. So that's what video stores were like, and you were lucky.
So wait, a kid could walk in and just say a number,
just give a number and a letter.
And then there's the sickest, grossest pornography behind beads.
And beaded
like,
doorway.
It was like $1,000 a tape to rent from there. In your mind,
something
because these
like
perverts have deep pockets.
Well, yeah, and the
these Long
pornography
Island
section.
perverts, yeah.
But yeah, they, you were lucky if they had 2 copies of a movie. For the most part, they only, it was a relatively small storefront.
I'll tell you something, Tom.
Mm-hmm. It was the same size as the store next door, which sold cards and magazines.
Yeah.
To give you an idea of how tiny
Tom,
it was.
This is the thing, and this is an innovation that Blockbuster solved. Those tapes, you didn't walk in there and just grab 3 Amigos.
No, the tape was behind the counter.
Yeah, you had to go up to the man.
So you weren't even sure. No, I think they turned the tape when it was out.
Yeah.
So if a tape was backwards, then it was out. But I mean, obviously anyone could do that. So like as a kid, at least I would still, if it was something I really wanted, I would check, because sometimes they would get things back and they hadn't turned it yet. But yeah, a pretty like simplistic system.
Yeah, like we have 3 Amigos, but somebody else has it out.
Right. And
maybe suggest Caddyshack.
Right, or Caddyshack too. Right. And that was one of Blockbuster's big innovations, that they had so many tapes that the tapes were just out on the showroom floor for you to grab. And that they had
armed guards to make sure that nobody
didn't have armed guards. Also another innovation that they had that later Golden Video had was a return slot, not having to bring it, like being able to return something after hours by just putting it through a slot.
And like
I also remember that being a big problem, where it was like, the video store closes at 7. We have to get there to return this, or else we're going to get late fees.
Yeah. And late fees, Tom, you don't want to mess with those. Those were 16% of Blockbuster's revenue, Tom.
Yeah. Well, and especially for smaller video stores, it made sense, because I remember there being videos that I really wanted, and they would tell you, this will be back in on Friday.
Yeah.
And you would come back in Friday an hour before close, and they're like, I don't know what to tell you. The person didn't bring it back. Yeah. And I'll tell you
it
what.
It says right here, 3 Amigos due Friday.
And they won't call the police. And even if you call the police on your own, the police won't do anything.
Also, when Blockbuster opened in 1985, Tom, I feel like we didn't
get it till maybe 92, I want to say, in our area.
Blockbuster was founded by David Cook in 1985 and went public a year later.
Before then, it was you had to have a membership.
Exactly. It was a chain of video rental stores that eventually became 9,000 storefronts. It's wild that was I think it got to be its biggest in 2004. Right. Which I guess at this point is kind of a long time ago. It's like 18 years ago.
Yeah.
But like now there's one, and it's not even and it's just a novelty in Bend, Oregon, right?
I mean, it is a functioning, you can go
but
there. But
it's an independent store, right?
Right. Like they just licensed the name or something, I think.
Right. So basically, everything was operating mom and pop. And I have such fondness and affinity for Blockbuster because I spent, so much time in a Blockbuster. I rented so many videos.
Yeah, I remember that time you accidentally got locked in overnight.
Tom, that would have been great. They had so many TVs. You just watch the movies on the TVs there.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to watch a movie on like a 13-inch TV installed on the ceiling.
Yeah, that's true.
But you wouldn't have had to pay to watch it, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, Blockbuster.
Joke's on them. Joke's on you, assholes. Watching it for free.
Now, Blockbuster had 2 big innovations, I think. The first one was having so many tapes. And that got even as they got bigger, I feel like towards the late 90s, they had a lot of marketing around when a new release comes out on a Friday, we'll have it.
It's guaranteed to be there.
Yeah, it's guaranteed.
The guarantee was just like, otherwise, like when we do have it in, you'll get it for free.
Right.
Okay.
But the way they could guarantee it was they would have 100 copies of that tape. So you actually were guaranteed, you were very likely that they would have, Terminator 2 or whatever in stock.
That's a little too early.
Yeah, that
for
was
what
a
you're
little too
talking
early.
about,
Titanic, when it came out on video, that they would actually have it, and you could watch it. So that was one innovation. But the second innovation was they were so much cheaper than other rental stores. I think it's those two things that grew them to 9,000 stores and turned them into an insane monopoly.
That's the thing. And
destroyed.
I have such affinity for them, but basically what they did is what I hate is they came in and killed independent stores.
Right.
And then used their clout in the market to the reason they could get all of those tapes to have when they came out, or those DVDs on Friday to guarantee that they were there, is because they would cut deals with the studios and be like, look, nobody's renting this shit anywhere else, so you better give us a good cut of this, and we'll push it, and we'll buy buy as many as possible, but you got to give us a break on it. And then it's cheaper because, again, the way that Walmart is cheaper is they're like, we have 1 billion stores.
Yeah.
You want your product in our stores?
We're gonna buy
it from you really cheaply, the manufacturer.
Right.
We're gonna squeeze you. And there's nothing you can do about it. If you don't sell it to us at this price, fuck you. We'll just put another product.
We're gonna place an order for probably in some cases literally 1 million copies of these big titles. And you're not
Johnny
gonna
Blockbuster. You're squeezing the little guy. You're not Paramount Pictures.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You can't feel too bad about it.
Well, can I tell you? Blockbuster was founded by David Cook in 1985 and went public a year later. An investment group of former waste management executives took control of the company and built it up before a sale to Viacom in 1994. So it's just it's like
I don't think I knew Viacom. Well,
it's cool. It's like waste management in Viacom. It's and then Carl Icahn or all the worst people are involved in Blockbuster. The place that I like. It's if I could go back to one place in time, would be Blockbuster on a Friday night in 1997.
Yeah, I mean it was.
He's built by mobsters from waste management.
Have you watched that documentary, The Last Blockbuster? Yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it.
It's nice.
But they do.
Who narrated it?
Kevin Smith.
No,
Kevin
Smith was in it.
Oh, I forget who narrated it then.
Okay, sorry. Maybe you're right.
Ask Ginger. Ginger will look it up real quick.
See she's not pulling her weight.
No, in fact, she's asleep.
I'm not going to give her intern stipend that you've convinced me to pay her. And also, I don't think she can cash the checks.
No, I cash them for her and I buy bacon strips with them.
Well, that's what dogs love. I did see the film, The Last Blockbuster.
Well, did you find out who directed it?
Oh, that's what you're waiting for? Lauren Lapkus.
Oh, okay. So not Kevin Smith.
No.
They don't even have similar voices.
They have very similar voices. No, Kevin Smith was a talking head in it.
Okay. They talk about in that documentary how and it's hard to describe to somebody that didn't go to Blockbuster. I think specifically the ages we were as kids into teens. And that excitement of going there on a Friday night of oh man, anything's possible. Because you didn't really know when movies came out on video. Some you did. Some really big ones they would run commercials for. I remember
they would, in the mornings on MTV, they would show music videos. And on the bottom, they would have a news scroll. And part of that was new videos. And I remember just watching every
morning.
I think they would show like videos out today, right?
Yeah.
So every Friday morning, I'd be like, "Is Billy Madison out yet?" And I would just be watching for Billy Madison. While I remember as Jill Sobule's "I Kissed a Girl" was in heavy rotation, and I just remember every Friday that video was on, and just looking for Billy Madison. Man, I loved the 90s.
You've got a real broken brain if you can remember that.
Yeah,
you can't remember what you did last week, but
it's like 7 years of Spanish. I can't speak one fucking word of it.
Yeah, it was just so exciting, especially it was exciting when you wanted something in particular to go there, and it was like, oh boy, are they gonna have it? Are they not gonna have it? But then
my favorite was going in there and just being
being an open book of like,
show me what you got.
Show me what you got.
And I'm not married to the new release along the outer wall, which was a great layout, right? Along the walls were all the new releases, and then inside you had
it was like
classics.
a supermarket where all the fresh stuff is on the outside and the aisles,
and the fresh tapes,
look
fresh
at that.
DVDs.
But yeah, you know, that's how I saw a bunch of, I don't know, weird movies as a kid, because so often you would want, you know, some new release or whatever. They wouldn't have it. So you would just start perusing. All right, well, they don't have Wayne's World 2. Let me see what comedies they do have. And then you really, you know, you didn't have a phone or anything. So all you had to go by was the cover and the description on the back, which would maybe have like 3 screenshots from the movie.
Yeah.
And if the movie was bad, you still watched it because you
they
paid.
didn't tell you it was bad on the
no, they
box.
wouldn't tell you it was bad. But you would watch the whole thing because it was, you said to yourself, I paid $4 to rent this. I'm going to watch this stupid movie, even if I hate it and it's terrible.
Which is great.
Yeah.
When you have a million, and then we talk about this with music all the time. Like I haven't listened to a new album in 20 years because if it doesn't grab me in 30 seconds, I'm like, next.
Yeah. Well, I do the same thing even with Netflix nowadays, where first off, you have the paralysis of choice because there's so much stuff. But there have been plenty of times where I'll give something like 10 minutes and then go, there was something. We were trying to decide between this and something else anyway. The first 10 minutes of this is slow or just kind of
See, I don't have that problem, Tom, because the only streaming service I have is the Criterion channel.
Oh, wow.
And everything is finely curated there, and they're all classics, and I know deeply the history of all these important films, and I watch them.
Now they have pornography on there. They have
some of the grossest stuff. Again, it's just like they have
some of the grossest
you select
stuff,
the race,
but
and then
artistically done in a nice way. Tim, did you rent video games from Blockbuster?
No. And this is where, like,
I only play new video games.
No, I wasn't a video games kid. I remember one time I rented River City.
No hand-eye coordination.
No, I was bad at video games. No hand-eye coordination. River City Ransom. Remember that game?
Yeah.
I remember renting that for a sleepover. We had some good fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for me, I was just like, this cheapens the whole experience. Let's keep this to movies.
Man, you really are a snob.
I'm a cinephile, Tom.
I feel like that's an aspect, and in the Blockbuster documentary, underrated aspect. Because I was thinking about this. I'm playing Horizon Forbidden West right now. And to be honest, I'm kind of sick of it. I've been playing it for so many hours trying to get everything. But every time I'm like, I kind of want to play this anymore. I then think, you spent $60 on this, idiot. You didn't wait. Nowadays, you can wait 2 weeks after a game comes out, and it's immediately on sale. And within 6 months, the game's $20.
Yeah.
But certain games, it's like, no, I'm very excited. I want $60 game. I'll pay the $60. And then I'm going to play the hell out of it, even if I'm lukewarm on it. And I was thinking about how awesome Blockbuster was, because back then video games were still like $50 or $60 or $70, some $80 some games. And that's not with inflation. That's pre-inflation money.
Stop screaming about inflation all the time.
Tim, it's what people like to hear about.
No,
me.
you have those stickers of Joe Biden that I did this that you've been putting on.
No, I took one of those off a gas pump the other day because I got mad. Because I was just
Joe Biden's a great man.
Not that. I was just like, come on, take stickers off the gas pump employees, no matter what they say.
What if it said Tom is cool?
Well, then
I saw one that said,
No, you didn't. Who put it there? Did you put it there?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Putting them all over town. I'm trying to get some buzz going for you.
I've been trying to get the word out that I'm cool too, but it's been slow going.
I know, so I thought I'd help you out.
But I used to love, as a kid, you could rent a game, and especially in the 90s, there were so many games that were $60. Like
This is my issue, Tom.
Uh-huh.
You get, what, 2-3 days with that video game? That's fine if you're renting Bubble Bobble or something. But, like, what about a game that, like, you can't be like, oh, I'm going to just, like, play Metal Gear Solid for, like, 2 days.
Yeah, but that was a later game. That was, like...
It was like 1998.
I'm talking Super Nintendo Genesis era.
Okay.
And
you had them both because you were...
I was what, Tim?
Scumbag.
I remember... No, you could get... Like, I remember in particular, because I was thinking about the Ninja Turtles arcade games that then came out on Super Nintendo and Genesis. I was like, how come I never had those as a kid? And then I remembered, I rented those because you could beat those games in a sitting. And then it was like, well, why am I going to spend $70 to own this game when I already beat it? So it was great for things like that. You could buy a game, 3 days you could beat it, or sometimes you rented a game and after 3 days you're like, you know what, this game's awesome. I'm gonna buy this game. And then also Blockbuster.
Well, do you get $4 off the game?
No, but you got peace of mind. Also, Blockbuster later was big on selling used.
See, this is what I didn't like.
Games.
I didn't like when that happened. I didn't like when they added CDs and stuff in there, and then they became a glorified freaking candy store at some point.
It's like, just go in the back and melt all the tapes that you don't want anymore, rather than sell them.
No, I just feel like it becomes like, I want to come here. I want it streamlined. I want to see that.
You're a real sick man saying you didn't like when they became a candy store.
What?
What's wrong with you?
Tom, we had Sweet Street right across from Goodies.
Yeah, but
that was a great candy store right in town.
There was nothing in Blockbuster.
Yeah, but you don't need to have one place that you get everything at. You go to Blockbuster to rent movies.
It's fun because when you're in line...
Make 2 stops.
When you're in line, it reminds you of being at the movie theater, because then you can buy your candies too. Because they had like all the movie theater.
I know they had
candy.
that, but at some point they went over the top with the candies. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, they had.
Can we agree that Blockbuster? Sure, have the movie candy there. Make it feel like the theater experience. They started
getting like novelty candy, and that I didn't like.
Yeah. Okay. So call me a sick man. Back to video games, Tom. Do you know that Nintendo sued Blockbuster?
Yeah, for photocopying the instruction manuals.
Which, like, whoever read the dang instruction manual?
Yeah, but their thing was they didn't want to put the instruction manual in with the game, because then they would just never come back. Right. Because people would just lose them. So they would copy them. But I do get that Nintendo wasn't happy in the first place with them renting games.
They tried to lobby to have it illegal to rent video games.
I mean, Nintendo, to this day, Nintendo's like crazy about their intellectual property and copyrights. Like, there are certain games that people will live stream on Twitch and they'll like give them a copyright strike, and people are like, what, are you crazy? Like, I'm live streaming some Nintendo 64 game and you're going to issue a copyright strike against me. But
that Miyamoto
himself, he's doing it all.
Yeah. He's pulling the strings.
But I also kind of get that Nintendo saying, it was a dumb thing for Blockbuster to do, because Nintendo's 100% right that instruction manual is copyrighted and you're making copies of it, and
you can copy things that you own,
but not rent them out.
Yeah, that's true.
And there is, it is, well, where's the line between copying the manual and copying the game.
Yeah.
If I were a lawyer for Nintendo, I would go, how do you know some people aren't coming in there to rent the manual and aren't even using the game?
Right.
And then a windfall of cash, just a lot of money.
So they settled out of court.
Yeah.
And then Blockbuster
That's
started
what I
using,
always recommend my clients do as well.
yeah, well, when they're gonna lose, when you know you can't win the case, you always recommend.
It's the first thing.
Look, I'm a bad lawyer. I'm not gonna win the case.
As soon as they sit me down in the jail across from the person, I say, "Look, I'm gonna recommend that we settle."
I started using third-party manuals, which. What a weird...
I think I vaguely remember
what a weird
that.
business to go into, to be like, hey, we're going to write like generic versions of the manuals for these games.
You know what?
And like, what are the rules there for like
right.
how similar they can be?
Transformative use.
Yeah.
And I do remember that now because I remember at a certain point there being manuals where it was like, this isn't a photocopy of the manual. This isn't the original manual. What the hell is this? It's just a weird manual with generic graphics in it.
Yeah.
So it's not Mario. It's just a guy.
Plumber.
Brooklyn
Plumber.
But then I do remember later, at least for a little bit of time, they would put the instructions on the back of the box.
Right.
Like just kind of brief, like
B is jump.
Yeah, here's what the buttons do. Here's what the power-ups do type thing. Because, I mean, look, especially Nintendo instruction manuals are great. They were full of like whimsical drawings and stuff.
I never cracked
but
one
a lot
open.
of
I wasn't
times,
much of a reader.
a lot of times, yeah, it was just kind of, look, I just need to know what the different buttons here do.
Tom, how cool did it feel when you got your own Blockbuster card? And then, right, like when you signed up, it was before you had a driver's license, probably.
Yes, yeah.
Right? It was probably the first card that could do anything that you ever had in your wallet.
Well, a library card, but
a library card.
You know that'll get you beat up.
Hey, what am I doing here, Tom?
Tim's giving the jerk off motion about a library card. The library had DVDs.
Not much of a reader, Tom. Don't care for the library. The library did have DVDs, and you were a fool if you went to Blockbuster.
Yeah, because you could just get DVDs. Yeah. Well, certainly for there, I actually do.
But they had like From Here to Eternity, Gone with the Wind.
I mean, I do remember sometimes being at Blockbuster, wanting to rent something and saying, there's nothing here that I really want. I'm just going to go to the library and take 3 things out, and who cares what they are. And it'll just satisfy my urge to rent something right now.
Blockbuster had a cool logo, I think.
It did have a cool logo. It looked like a ripped ticket.
Yeah.
It really reminded you of a movie theater.
They never did like a rebrand either. I like that.
Yeah. And
they didn't try to like get hip. And they died.
Right. They didn't change with the times, and they quickly went out of business. Did you ever go to, at least on the East Coast here, their big competitor Hollywood Video?
You know what? My high school girlfriend, her family was a Hollywood Video family. Yeah.
And now your high school girlfriend, it was a year or 2 ago you were dating that girl, right? They were a Hollywood Video family. That is very weird.
Yeah, they were
right?
to
Is that why you broke up?
No, that was part of it.
Yeah,
no, Tom, she didn't like me.
She found me annoying. There was a Hollywood Video not too far from us, but like you would pass 3 Blockbusters getting there.
Yeah.
So it was kind of silly to do it. But what was...
there were 2 Blockbusters that I went to.
Mm-hmm.
I'd mix it up. I didn't know.
Yeah.
They were both like kind of equidistant. Sometimes it was West Islip. Sometimes it was West Babylon.
You know what? I would do that too. And trying to convince my parents to like try the West Babylon one instead of the West Islip one, it was like talking to a brick wall.
Yeah.
And I think one time one of them returned a video that I had gotten to the wrong one, and that was like a whole fiasco. So they were like, stop going to that other Blockbuster.
You ever go to the North Babylon one? It was a weird one. It had a weird layout. I didn't like it.
I think I'd been in it, but I don't know if I had necessarily rented anything.
I don't know what I was doing there. I must have been looking for something in particular.
Yeah. You're lucky you didn't get your ass kicked.
I know. You don't like me on that side of town.
Hey, pal, stick to your own Blockbusters. What, 2 Blockbusters aren't enough for you?
One of the cool thing about I just want to go back to this time. the West Side's the Blockbuster, and then there was the A&W right next to it.
Yeah. A&W hamburgers.
Yeah, root beers. Yeah.
Well, they had the root beers, of course. They had the frosted mugs.
Yeah.
And pour your own root beer. And, ooh, boy, it was like, I'm not a big root beer person, but damn, if that wasn't the most delicious drink you could have.
Yeah, and the burgers weren't bad either, my friend.
No, the burgers were very good. The burgers and fries were definitely a step above fast food. Their whole thing was they were trying to harken back to the 50s.
I liked it. They had a jukebox in there.
Yeah.
And it was like you'd walk in and they'd be, ain't no the ball I have. It's like, can you play, I don't know, music that I like?
Can you play some Nelly maybe? It's the 90s, for God's sake. But I feel like they actually did accomplish it with their burgers, that their burgers were what you heard burgers were like at McDonald's in the 50s. Yeah. And they didn't have promotional items. They didn't have crazy stuff.
No, they made them wear like little paper hats.
Yeah,
and
little
stuff
paper hats. Yeah. They had just like a very nice, nice simple menu. Nice place to sit in. And yeah, you could go there after and go over your haul from Blockbuster.
What I've learned from the Doughboys podcast, Tom. Mm-hmm. Is that the A&W brand has gone to shit in the U.S., but Canada is still the Canadian A&W. So if you ever find yourself in Canada, Tom, don't take another trip to Hooters near the airport. Go to an A&W.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how much time I have. But that is a good tip because, like, who knows, 5 years from now, I'm randomly in Canada and I see that and I think, well, the brand went to shit. But now I know. No,
not up north. Yeah.
It is good. I was big into buying used stuff at Blockbuster. I loved it. I know you think I'm a real scumbag.
The only thing I ever shoplifted in my whole life was from. I
didn't shoplift him. I was buying used product.
Shoplifted from
I know,
Blockbuster.
But you're like equating it like, oh, you buying used things is so low class.
No.
Here's a low class thing I did once.
No. I think that. Part of my justification for stealing the Bring It On DVD from Blockbuster that I think was on sale for $2.99 or something.
Yeah,
was just like this. First of all, I was embarrassed to buy it, right. Even though it's a great movie,
fantastic movie.
Doesn't hold up as well as you'd like it to, but why should it? It's got our friend Kiki in it,
Kiki Dunst.
I was just kind of like, you know what? This is a video rental store. Yeah. Cut the shit. Get the video games out of here. Stop selling stuff. Stop selling videos.
Get the booth where kids can make a tape in case they're ever kidnapped out of here.
I forgot about that. Did anybody ever do that?
I never did it.
Yeah. I was too old once they put it in, I think.
Yeah, maybe it was the same thing as me. Or maybe it was, just didn't want to admit you were kidnappable.
Yeah.
It's
probably pretty kidnappable. As cute as a button.
Tim, they would have brought you back. They would have been like, this kid's too annoying. He's calling us low class.
Get rid of the big you don't need a thing 600 3-foot long Twizzlers. They had a bunch of those things.
Well, that's what I'm talking about when they started getting into novelty.
Yeah, get rid
candy.
of that. Just make it. Look, the movie theater has a concession stand.
Yeah.
The candy doesn't take over the whole goddamn theater.
Right, yeah.
Just have it like that.
Yeah, they had too much variety in candy at a certain point. Where it's like, have the
Snow
Milk
Caps.
Snow Caps, Reese's Pieces, M&Ms. all those basic guys.
Get the freaking CDs out of there. I don't want to buy a TLC CD there. I'll just go across the street to Looney Tunes or right next door to The Wall or Coconuts, depending on what year it is.
Yeah, it was weird when they started carrying CDs, it seemed. I mean, they only carried like real big CDs.
Yeah.
I think. So
and then I was like, this is so corporate, this music that they're selling.
Well, it was basically aimed at people like our parents that were maybe intimidated.
Yeah, like Shania Twain. You could buy that Shania Twain record for like $23.99, or you could go across the street to the independent store and get it for like $14.99.
Yeah, well, we were lucky too that we had like an amazing. We had like one of the best record stores in the country in our next town over. To be fair, but close enough to ride bikes too.
So I was just kind of like, you know what? And also like, this is surplus stuff. If they don't sell this, Bring It. I know they bought like 1,000 copies of Bring It On when it came out.
Tim, if they don't sell that copy of Bring It On, they send it to developing countries.
No, they snap it in half.
They can enjoy it.
They snap it in half and throw it in the dang dumpster, Tom. That's what they're doing with it. So it's like they're not going to miss it, and they didn't. They did go out of business 15 years later, though.
Yeah, that could have been the tiny domino that started knocking everything down. Well, I remember one of my best purchases, and I should look it up. It's probably worth a fortune now.
Bring It On DVD?
No, I could probably like retire on it now. I bought a Nintendo Virtual Boy there for $20.
Oh, yeah.
After...
Do you still have it?
Yeah, it's at my mom's house. And it's in like a big, like heavy duty Pelican case, like because it was the rental case.
And the Pelican's big beak?
Not like the bird, Tim, like the brand. The heavy duty like road cases for cameras.
Case, okay.
It came in a big case like that because this was the one you could rent for a weekend or whatever for like $20. Okay. So it came in a big case. But the beautiful thing is, I don't think anybody ever rented this thing. It smelled, it had that like brand new smell about it.
But if you ever put it on your head, it doesn't smell brand new.
Well, you don't have to put it on your head because that one was too heavy. So you just had, the only thing was it didn't come with the stand that you needed. So because the Virtual Boy was a weird, for a lot of reasons, a very weird device, but it was super heavy, so you didn't strap it on your head. It just had like a little tripod it came in, and you would just kind of like lean your head on it. But it didn't come with that tripod, so I would just have to like prop it up on books or whatever. And
remember you, I was going to say rented it. You lent it to a friend of ours. And I tried it at his house. It sucked. That thing sucks.
Oh, yeah. It really sucked. It gave you a headache. Yeah. Everything was red and black. And all the games were awful for it. I don't think I had Waterworld for it. I think Waterworld is the game that's now worth like thousands of dollars because it was just like very, very rare. But I do remember renting it because they sold the Virtual Boy, but they still rented some of the games. So I rented some games. I bought some games too, but yeah, I love buying used games and stuff there because they were cheap. They were $2.99.
I know, but that's not what we're there for.
Well, it's what I was there for, Tim. I probably kept them going longer in business than you did.
2004, Tom. First of all, the Netflix started in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And we all know the original Netflix business model, right? They'd send you a DVD, keep it as long as you want. When you send it back, you get a new one.
Because you're paying a monthly fee. So
exactly.
In fact, they would love for you to just keep one DVD.
Exactly. They don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
But everybody's like, oh, well, Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy them for $50 million in 1999. As if, like, that would have saved everything. As if, like, the people from Netflix would have been like, we sold you this. Now we're going to go start a streaming thing a few years later.
They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And they'd be
Blockbuster started their own mail away DVD thing because their thing was you can return it to the store, which was actually like a pretty good. It was like you can return it to the store and get another movie right away if you want. You don't have to wait a couple of days for it to get back to the warehouse. And then Blockbuster briefly did have a streaming service too.
Yeah.
And you're 100% right. that if they had bought Netflix and Reed Hastings was there as like a vice president and he pitched this, they would have been like, were you nuts? No, we're going to keep renting Matrix DVDs. That's what makes us a ton of money.
Yeah. And so in 2004, they're like, oh, you hate late fees, huh?
Yeah.
Blockbuster did.
2005 is what I have in my notes,
well,
but
you're wrong. Your notes, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to have Ginger stop taking your notes for you. She's a bad intern, Tom.
Well, she works very cheaply.
She works for begging strips, which
Yep.
you say costs $3,000 a week.
Yeah,
That's what we're paying
she
for?
goes through a lot. I have some of them too.
Okay. No late fees. But New Jersey sued them. The state of New Jersey. Chris Christie.
I read there was a few states actually.
Well, you're wrong. It's New Jersey. That's just
sorry
one
if
state.
anybody's hearing. My motorcycle boyfriend's here to pick me up.
Tell them to wait a second. We have 5 more minutes left. If you kept a movie for 8 days, they would just charge you as if you bought it.
Oh, I had read 30 days, which is also bad.
No.
8 days is nuts.
Once they charged you, you'd have 30 days to return it. But then they charge you a restocking fee, which is a late fee.
So it's basically we got rid of late fees and replaced them with complicated late fees.
Exactly. That are potentially way, way, way more expensive.
Yeah. I mean, and I remember those commercials where it was like, no more late fees. And even as like, I guess in 2005, I was like out of college. So I was going to say, even as a kid, but I just remember thinking like, well, that doesn't make sense. I know why Netflix can do that.
Yeah.
And it's because they're charging me every month, because tons of times I did keep movies for a month or whatever, would forget to send them back.
Why wouldn't their marketing be more about like, hey, it's Friday night and you want to watch a movie with your family. You don't have to like go at the time going online, and freaking rely on the postal service to deliver you something in the mail. They could lie and be like, half the time that DVD is freaking cracked when it gets to you. People, people don't know. To be like, hey, you just go and get it and just like get it that night and bring it home. Decide with your family. Don't have to like adjust your queue on Tuesday to make sure that your Friday night movie is
because then sometimes the Netflix wouldn't have the movie, so they would just send you the next movie in your queue. I mean, I remember doing Netflix and still going to Blockbuster. Like there could have been a way for both these businesses to coexist, at least for a little bit.
Man, Netflix in the beginning was awesome. Like I saw so many movies because I was like, hey, you know me, Tom, I'm a cinephile.
Yeah.
So I put a lot on the queue. They'd come, I'd watch them.
Yeah. Old Netflix was great. Maybe you should sign back up for Quizos or whatever it was. Quibi? Not Quibi. Cubos?
Quick Flicks or something?
I think it was
Quickster.
Quickster, yeah.
Wait, that's still a thing, right? Netflix?
I think Netflix does still have a small... You can still do DVDs by mail.
Because there's something nice about... I remember, from 2007-ish, I was like, I'm going to watch all the Coen Brothers movies in order. And, I can do that now. If I had to, look up what streaming service they're on, some of them had to...
Yeah.
This was just, the queue, and, they came, and I just...
And it would have been cheaper than renting each of them individually still.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure there's... Some of them are spread out on streaming services I have or whatever, but,
Well, and I think especially when me and you were Netflix customers, I remember watching all of Lost through Netflix.
Yeah, me too. I thought I was dying during it.
Because you were watching Lost through Netflix?
No, I was in a very hypochondriac, and I was just I was convinced that I had something terribly wrong with me.
And you had to watch all of Lost before?
No, just for a few days when I was I was sick with something else. I had a flu or something. But I was and also I'm this is a terminal illness.
And also this is it for me.
Yeah, and I just remember
did you go to the doctor?
No,
of course not. You just assumed you were dying.
No, I did, and they did a brain scan, and they're you're fine. And I was but guess what? I'm not fine.
They're you're fine. There's not even anything in there. in your head.
Moth flying around.
Yeah, we found there's just a light bulb and a moth flying around in there. The light bulb's been turned off.
Good enough for me, Doc.
All right, back home to watch Lost.
What's going on that crazy island?
But it was like when we were right out of college or in college.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I remember actually like doing Netflix in college too. And it was just like, yeah, I have all the time in the world and I'm interested in watching like a million different things right now. It was great. A fantastic service.
Yeah. Love it.
Netflix and Blockbuster, come back.
Man.
Old Netflix, not current Netflix, which is mostly just garbage.
I love Blockbuster. I love my memories of Blockbuster.
Uh-huh.
But it's just empty nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just love being 17 and having nothing to do, right? And being like,
exactly.
Nobody was asking anything of me. I
mean,
had no responsibilities. I could eat like shit. I could, my entire life was just like very low stakes.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, even watching that last Blockbuster documentary where they're going to the, there are people there renting stuff from Blockbuster and everything. I would love to do that if tomorrow some Brooklyn hipster opened up a Blockbuster. I would totally go there and rent something. The next week I would watch something on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be fun for a one-time nostalgia hit. But ultimately, yeah.
I mean, I want to go back to that world, Tom.
Yeah.
Where, I'm not reachable every second of the day.
I watched a thing about or I guess maybe one of the research stations in Antarctica. And the people that live there, like a lot more people live there in the spring and summer. Doing studies and stuff, it's scientists and whatnot, but they always have like a skeleton crew. So during the
scary.
Well, it does look scary because during the winter it's like negative I don't know what, and there's only like
not for long,
and only a handful of people working there and living there. But they have internet, but it's dog slow. So they actually have like a pretty big in the convenience store. They have like a big DVD library. And
I know. That's color coded.
No, but you can rent DVDs. I think the DVDs are actually free to take out. It's like a library, but they, you have to actually go to somebody and they write down who took it out. But it did look, even that I was a little nostalgic for, like, imagine being somewhere in the world where it's like, there's no internet, but I don't know, we've got like 1,000 DVDs here. They were all out of the cases and in like slip cases, so they could really pack them in.
Yeah.
It was just maybe the size of like a walk-in closet, but it was just wall-to-wall DVDs. And it's like, that is pretty cool.
My wife has a huge CD booklet full of DVDs. She would just get a bunch of Netflix DVDs and just copy them onto. So she's got all these DVRs of all these movies.
Well, Tim, the statute of limitations has not passed on that, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to call the FBI on your wife.
Wouldn't be the first.
Tim, I'd be lying.
Stop calling the police on my wife, Tom.
I'd be lying if I told you that I haven't been looking for a reason to call the FBI on your wife for a long time, but. If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgte.com. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/complete guide. Follow us on Instagram at tcgte. Follow us on Twitter at complete guide. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at your pal Tim.
Check out our Reddit, reddit.com/r/tcgte. Check out our Discord. The link is on tcgte.com. And most importantly, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/complete guide. This week, we're wrapping up Books of Podcasts. We just read The 90s by Chuck Klosterman, and now we've both watched Reality Bites, the quintessential 90s movie.
Which made me think of Blockbuster, which is why I wanted to do this.
Yeah, so
a lot of VHS stuff in that movie.
Yeah, there really is. So you can listen to that episode and all the back episodes, patreon.com.
Hundreds of episodes there. Books the Podcast, Fast Food Friday.
Freak of the Week.
Freak on a Leash.
We should start a Freak of the Week podcast. Patreon.com/complete guide. Yeah, that's rental stores. Do you have any final thoughts about? I told you about the late fees. Oh, you told me, but I already knew it.
Yeah.
In 1994, male employees working for Blockbuster music spin-off stores, so they had spin-offs, not in our town.
Yeah, that's stupid.
We're told that long hair and earrings were banned.
Yeah.
Come on, how you going to run a record store and you don't let guys have long hair and earrings?
See, this is when Blockbuster started to jump, when they had like the Blockbuster Music and Movie Awards and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They tried to become like a brand like that. And it's like,
well,
nah, just rent me movies and make me young again.
In 1994, executives tried to make good on the label by opening a center dubbed the Blockbuster Block Party in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Spread over 60,000 square feet, the adult amusement park featured laser tag, mazes, and motion simulator rides.
Very cool.
The press referred to it as a miniature Disneyland on steroids, but the concept never caught on. You can't call something a miniature this on steroids.
Yeah.
Those are two is like a jumbo shrimp.
Yeah, but it's like miniature Disneyland. Okay, it's a Disneyland, but on steroids, so bigger. So like Disneyland, it's Disneyland.
Yeah. I mean,
you shrunk it and then you beefed it back up.
I mean, it doesn't really sound much like it was his, but I mean that is
it's like Spaceplex more than anything. Tom.
Yeah, but I mean that's 94. That's when they were really riding high,
Yeah.
and it seemed like the sky was the limit.
But like that's the thing. This is the thing. Everybody just do what you do and do
Yeah.
it well. Stop doing so many things.
I mean, I will say, Netflix dramatically changed their business, but they still stuck to video.
Yeah.
Whereas Blockbuster was trying to figure out, well, how do we get into music? How do we get into amusement parks? How
Yeah.
do we get into award shows?
Hey, stay in your lane, dickheads.
Yeah. I mean, they probably should have done what Netflix did was start making their own movies.
I hate that stuff.
I mean, it would have been bad for them to do that, but I don't know. I mean, that brings me to maybe one final point. Something that I do miss is direct-to-video movies. Like, they still exist, but not... They're all direct-to-video stuff nowadays that isn't like a Netflix thing or whatever. I'm talking about like rentals on iTunes
the Bruce
or whatever.
Willis stuff that
Yeah.
we were just talking about.
They're so bad that they're like unwatchable.
The direct-to-video stuff was bad, Tom. It was unwatchably bad.
But when we
You
were
were a
younger,
kid.
I know.
And you didn't know. You didn't know that stuff was bad.
But they would do, I don't know, they would just be like weird at least.
That's
so they
true.
were like funny to watch.
Everything's weird now.
Yeah, everything's weird. So nothing's normal. The new normal. The new normal. Everything's weird.
See you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.